In terms of what we're going to be talking tonight, it's a little bit different. I want to talk about mindset. Now, normally I'd do a talk on a specific hormone or a treatment or something like that, but I haven't actually done a talk on mindset before. But I think it's actually really important for health. So that's why I thought it was worth doing a talk on this and preparing something for you guys, because everyone who's looking at this is someone who's purchased my course. And obviously, you sort of saw a bit about the course, you heard me talk about it, you maybe saw some social media posts, and you thought, that's something that's going to benefit me. So I'm going to get on board with it and get the post. And we all do that for a whole host of different things. You know, we see something advertised, we sign up to a gym, we sign up to a class, we purchase some sort of like study module or something like that. And then a lot of times it just goes unused. So we either don't look at it or we think, oh, I'm going to get round to doing that. And we don't. Or we look at it and we think this is actually really beneficial to me. And there's probably some changes I need to make in my life. And then we don't. So all of this is to do with our mindset. So I've been guilty of it as well, you know, sort of either purchasing programs and then not really using them, or going on a course and thinking, oh my goodness, that was amazing. This could be life changing. And you come away from it on a real high. And then you get busy and things creep in and you just you don't make the changes you need to make. Or perhaps it's a change you know you need to make in your life. It could be a change in your health. It could be a change in your routine. Maybe you need to put more time towards doing something like perhaps exercise or a different way of eating or managing your stress and your time better. But for some reason, that hasn't happened. So I want to talk about how we can put more of these things in place so that we do make the changes that we want to make and we stick with them and they're sustained over a period of time. Because I want the things you've seen in the course not to just be like, oh, that was something really interesting that I heard. I'm definitely going to do that. And then you don't. I want it to be something you actually implement and use if you can see where it's going to be a benefit to you. So if we are not fulfilling our potential or going after our goals, and I think it'd be really helpful if just, you know, if you're live on the call, if you've got a pen or paper, if you're listening to the recording, get a pen and paper just to like maybe jot down some notes. I'm not going to pick on people and ask them questions, but just it can be useful in real time just to jot some things down. So, what I think would be really helpful is if you write down a couple of things that you have been putting off doing that you know would be really good for you. So, again, it could be a weight goal, a type of eating goal, it could be an exercise goal, it could be making some other changes in your lifestyle. And then after you've got your two things, I think it could be helpful just to spend a couple of moments thinking why you aren't doing those things at the moment. It's not a judgment thing. Like I said, I'm not going to call on people or ask you to report back to me, but just for yourself, if you're being really honest with you, why, even though you know that these changes are going to be beneficial to you, why aren't you doing them? So I'll give you an example from my real life. So basically, I know that there are certain foods in my diet that I eat that probably I don't react that well to and probably don't help my weight goals. But I continue to eat these. Not like all the time or constantly, but I haven't quite taken that step to being firm with myself and going, no, you need to cut these out at least for a period of time. And the reason I haven't done it is because I think, oh, that feels like a lot of hassle. That feels like a lot of hassle because, like, what if I go out for dinner? Restaurants are open now. What if I want to go out for dinner and then I can't eat something I want to eat, or someone else books the restaurant? And then I've got to be like, oh, I can't eat anything on the menu. And then I'm going to be all upset because I can't eat something on the menu. Or, you know, what if I'm going around to someone's house when we're allowed and I have to be like, oh, I can't eat that. And then there's a whole interrogation. Why aren't you eating these things? And Why are you doing this change? I'll just have a little bit, it's not going to harm you. And do I have enough conviction in my beliefs to go, no, I'm not doing that, not in a rude way, not in a funny way with anyone, but just go, oh no, that's absolutely fine. You knock yourselves out, you do that. And I'm not going to partake tonight in that dessert or cheesecake or whatever it might be. So why haven't I done that? So I've given you my example. And essentially, what it always comes down to is that you are equating more pain with making this decision than pleasure. So instead of me going, well, actually, I eat those things and I'll just, it's kind of like sort of like gluten and chocolate, essentially. Okay. It's nothing like weird or wonderful. It's things that we all know are not that great for us, but I like. And I don't have them all the time, but I haven't cut them out completely. So instead of me equating in my mind, look, when you eat those things, you kind of like it, but then after you don't feel so good. It messes with your blood sugar. Sometimes your heart races. That's not great feeling. Sometimes you can feel quite bloated, and that's not a nice feeling. If you have it in the evening, it messes with your sleep a bit, having that amount of sugar. So I'm not equating the pleasure to not having those things and saying, do you know what? If I don't have those things, I'll be better rested. My blood sugar will be even. I'll have more energy and vitality. I'll be achieving my weight loss goals. I'm equating the pain, which is all those reasons I just gave you before. And that's the same for everyone, no matter what your goal is. We are equating a lot of pain, and you're thinking, I'm not that happy where I am at the moment, but I'm kind of happier staying where I am than making some changes, because where I am, I'm not 100% happy. So if we know there's a change we need to make in our lives, but we're not making it, it's basically because we've equated a lot of pain to it rather than pleasure. So instead of me saying, oh, I'm going to feel more energized, I'm going to feel more vital, I'm going to reach my weight loss goals, my blood sugar is going to be steady, I'm going to be more productive because I'm not going into bloating and brain fog all the time by eating these certain foods. I'm just thinking to myself, I know where I am at the moment, and it might not be ideal, but it's not that bad. And what if I make these changes and for a short period of time I feel worse? Because quite often when you do make a change, because it's new, physically you can feel different and mentally you can struggle with it as well. So I'm in this limbo period where I'm going, I'd like to make a change. I don't want my life very disrupted. So I could make this change, but maybe I won't do it now. Maybe I'll do it in a few weeks' time, or maybe I'll do it in a couple of months' time when I don't have any social engagements on, or things like that. So I'm in this limbo period of indecision, which we can all be for lots of different things. It's not the right time for me to make this change. It's not the right time for me to be exercising. I was a bit like that in January with running because it was really cold. And I'm like, I want to keep fit because the gyms are closed, but it's really cold. And then my trainer and I were having a conversation on WhatsApp, and he goes, well, you could wear a coat. I said, yeah, but then I'm going to run and then I'm going to overheat. And then what am I going to do with the coat? And then I'm not going to be able to run properly because I got to carry a coat. And he's like, it doesn't sound like you want to go on this run. And he was right. I didn't want to go on it. So I was making excuses. And that's what we all do. So it's not a judgment. We're all the same. We all have the same psychology. So what we need to do is that for some reason, we're equating more pleasure than pain. So we need to write down the pain we think that's going to happen from making our decision, but then also try and reframe it and write the pleasure. What am I actually going to get out of this? And one of the ways we can do this is by busting our limiting beliefs. So our limiting beliefs are beliefs that we hold subconsciously that are basically holding us back. And they can be a whole host of different things, and they can manifest in different ways in your life. And they can actually be fine in one area of your life or maybe not another one. So it doesn't mean that if you have a limiting belief, it's going to manifest in all areas of your life. It could be that you're doing amazingly well in business, but not so well on your personal life, or vice versa. Your personal life's amazing, but your business life isn't so great. And these limiting beliefs are different for all of us in different ways, but they all basically stem down to the same thing. And that is that I am not worthy, I am not enough, I am not loved enough. And that's basically all our intrinsic core belief. And you might go, yeah, but I'm in a great relationship. I don't believe I'm not loved enough. I have a great relationship with my family. I don't believe that. But it's manifesting in a certain way. So if you tell me what your limiting belief was, which was like, I want to make the transition to run my own business, but I don't think I have those capabilities. If we dug deeper, it would all come from the fact that you don't think you're worthy or not enough to do that. So I would advise you to maybe write down what you think is holding you back and then go through that process and go deeper and deeper and deeper. So I always say it's like going through the whys. So I don't think I can run my own business. Why? Oh, I don't have enough time. Why? We've got the same amount of time as maybe not everyone's favorite example, but someone like Bill Gates or Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. I'm just using them as examples because they are people who've got the same amount of time as you and I, and they've achieved a lot in their time. So it's all about where we put our time, what we believe is important to us, and our values. So, an exercise that I think is quite helpful to do is, say if your goal was around weight loss, it would be useful to write down, what does losing weight mean to me? Or if it was around eating healthily, what does eating well mean to me? And I like to do the approach where we go 7 layers deep. So, for example, I did it for myself in preparation for this, but I do it anyway in recent times. So, in terms of like, what does eating well and losing weight mean to me? I wrote down feeling attractive, happiness, freedom, fitness, free movement in my body. But I also wrote down sacrifice. So I've got all those positives, but I've also got a negative in the back of my mind going, sacrifice, sacrifice. So what does sacrifice mean to me? It means not being able to do what I want to do, suffering, not feeling at peace, feeling uneasy. So no wonder I'm struggling making a decision, because on one hand, I've got these 5 positive things. My body's going to feel free and light and attractive, and I'm going to feel happy and vital. But there's this little voice going, sacrifice, sacrifice. You're not going to be able to do what you want to do. It's suffering. You're not going to feel free every day. And I'm choosing feeling the ability to do what I want every day over my long-term goal. So again, so it's important to see where that comes from as well, and think about, well, why am I associating that with sacrifice, and kind of dig a bit deeper, because then it'll help you smash through that limiting belief. It's useful to think about, for me, the example of it's sacrifice. I would think, when have there been other times I've sacrificed and it's worked out well? So I might think about when I first started my business, and it was quite a difficult time for a number of reasons, personal and professional. And it was a hard few months, but I had to make a lot of sacrifices. And now I'm in the position I am now, where I'm doing work I love with people I really enjoy working with. I would think about, oh, I was going to give you 2 other examples. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So I think it's useful to see times when you have sacrificed and it's worked out well for you. And then, was that really a sacrifice, or was it actually just sort of like building that muscle inside of you that can do difficult things? Also, say if you're looking at making a change, you can just try it on for size. So what I mean by that is, when we think about making a change in our diet or our fitness or other areas of our life, we think about, oh my God, this is it. This is it forever. I'm going to have to give up cheesecake forever. I don't even like cheesecake anymore so much. Maybe that's why I'm using that example and not a real example of something I actually really like. But what if I said to myself, I tell you what, how about for the next 2 weeks, you don't have any chocolate, and then you see how you feel? So I'm trying it on for size. I'm not making a huge commitment. I'm going to try something on. I'm going to write down before I start all the ways I feel currently. So that could be achy, it could be bloating, it could be feeling tired a lot, feeling that my brain isn't working that well. It could be something to do with sort of bowel and bladder habits, or just not feeling focused, or memory, or all sorts of different things. And at the end of the 2 weeks, I'm going to then write down how I feel after I've sacrificed or I've given up something for a short period of time, and then challenge myself to do it for another 2 weeks. So we could do it in increments to see how something feels. You're trying it on in real life time, saying, this is how I currently feel. I'm going to try something new and I'm going to see how I feel. People often do that with alcohol. They feel like alcohol definitely doesn't affect their mood or their sleep or their weight or their diet or their cravings. And they decide to have a little break, a stoptober or a dry January or something like that. And they're like, I can't believe it. I didn't change anything else, but I lost weight. I feel amazing. My sleep was great. My skin is better. I just feel like people keep saying to me, you look really well. You look really well. And they've seen that there's been a difference. So they've tried it on for size.